So welcome. What I wanted to do on this video was actually talk a little bit about disability insurance. And in particular, I thought I'd share with you a case that I typically get. So I actually just summarized this case here. This is a made up case, but this looks a lot like cases that I get every single week. And what I wanted to do is walk you through exactly what I would do when I get this case. And then I thought what we do is we could actually quote it out together. So here's an example. Here's a young physician that I would typically get, and what I would do is I would look at what can we do for her for disability insurance. So here's Rachel Gagnon, born June 4th, 1980, non-smoker. She's an OB/GYN, so she probably makes some good income. And let's say the advisor is able to get me some T1s and some corporate statements, or has a good idea as to what they're making. So here's what she would have made in 2018. So she took a salary of 75,000. She also took dividends of 150,000, and her corporation earned 325,000. And then in 2019, her salary went up a little bit, and her dividends went up a little bit as well, and her earnings inside the corporation also went up. And typically, a lot of these doctors also already have some disability insurance in force. And so let's just say Rachel here got $6,000 when she was a student, which isn't uncommon in medical school, and there's a big discount on it. And the question that a lot of people ask me is, what can we do for disability insurance for this individual? So the first thing that we need to figure out is what is her average earnings. So what we do is we actually take the earnings from 2018 and 2019 and we average them together. So that kind of brings it down a little bit, and that's the insurable earnings we can get. But I just want to highlight one thing, dividends here. It's a question that I get all the time. And people say, hey, can we insure those dividends? Because that's technically what they're making. And the answer technically is no, we don't insure dividends. And let me just explain that in a second. Dividends are declared and paid out whenever they want. They're not necessarily earned every single year. So what we do in disability insurance is we look at how did they get that dividend out. So what we will actually do, and the reason why I put corporate pre-tax earnings here, and let's just give it a different color here, this color here. The reason why I put corporate pre-tax earnings here is we actually can insure that number right there, 325,000 here and $375,000 here. So for her, if we want to figure out what her average income is, we're actually going to take the salary plus the pre-tax corporate earnings. So not after tax, the pre-tax corporate earnings, and we can add those two numbers together, and that's going to give us the earnings for 2018. We can do the same thing down here in 2019. We're going to take the salary and we're going to take the corporate earnings, and we're going to pretend like the dividends don't exist. The reason we do that is that dividends are usually from corporate earnings, so there might be a little bit of difference. Now, in this case, this client is actually taking out less dividends than they're currently earning, and they're leaving the rest inside their corporation, and that's fine too. We can actually insure everything. So if we just take out a little calculator here, we'll just take 75 and we'll add 325. So in 2018, they technically would have earned, for how we view it, $400,000. And then we look down here in 2019, we're just going to take 80 and we're going to do 375. 455, we're going to add the 400 to that, and then we're just going to divide that by 2 to get an average. And so we're going to have 427,500 insurable earnings that we can look at. So if I go to my software package here and I go to disability insurance, I go lifestyle protection plan, and I've already actually inputted her information here. I know that she's going to be a 4A classification because she's a physician. So I'm just going to go to the coverage tab, and I actually already inserted her income at $427,000. Now, because she's a business owner, we can actually gross that number up, and I'll just check that box, self-employed. It's going to give us a little pop-up, but we can do it. And I'm going to hit maximum monthly benefit right there. And it's going to tell us that this individual can get $15,000. So I'm going to write this down here, $15,275. That's the maximum they can get. but we know that she already has $6,000 of coverage. So what we're going to do is we're just going to delete $6,000 from that because she's already got it in force. So the new number that we can insure this client for is $9,275. So I'm just going to unclick this and go $9,275. So if this client bought this plan, now they would max out their the amount of disability insurance that they can buy. And likely even at that amount, there's probably still some loss if something would have happened to them. Okay, so then we're going to build our normal plan. So waiting period, 90 days. I also like to show 60 days. I know a lot of physicians like that, but I'll leave it 90 days and the benefit period to age 65. So that's good. And we're not really going to click anything over here. And then we're going to go into riders. So if you haven't used Canada Life software before, our product, the Lifestyle Protection Plan, which is our non-cancelable product, is what I would call bare bones product. So it's a really good product, but you do have to add a couple of different riders to make it really a strong product, especially for a physician. So we're going to click on the first one, regular own occupation, and we're going to add own occupation. Most physicians, if not all, take own occupation, so that's kind of a normal thing. Disability riders. So we've got residual, extended, partial. Typically residual is the one you would take here. It offers a whole lot of benefits. It offers, the residual income loss component, and it also offers the partial. So if they're only working part-time or they lose a major duty, that would still qualify as a partial. And that's the richest option. Now, this client is 40 years old. So I think it would make a lot of sense to add cost of living. So if they were good to go on claim, tomorrow, we would index them into retirement, or up till age 65 when we stop paying. Future insurability earnings. So we're going to buy her about 15,000 of all-in coverage here. So usually I would add a future insurability option, and it will add a little bit, but we've already bought a lot of coverage here if she goes ahead with this. So that might be something to look at, but we're still going to have some coverage for her. Catch-up rider, that's an interesting one. That means after 90 days or whatever, we'll refund those lost premiums. So that's an interesting one, but I'm just going to leave that one off for now. The other one that a lot of people really like is return of premium. So if we add that, it means that every 7 years that she does not claim on this plan, we will refund 50% of the annual premium. So that's really nice. A lot of people like that. Obviously, it doesn't have any insurance benefit, but it's something really interesting. Lifetime benefit, accident and created sickness. That's a lot right there, or otherwise known as LBAGs. I don't usually say that, but that's how we define it sometimes. But basically, what that means is that this plan, as you can see, will terminate at age 65. That's the benefit period. What this does, and I'm not going to go through the entire rider, you can read it in the illustration because there's a lot of technical information in there. But basically, in a nutshell, it means that if this person's still on claim at age 65, they could continue to get some part of a benefit. Depends on how they become disabled and stuff like that. But it means that from age 65, and let's say they lived to age 90, they would still get some level of benefit from this plan. So that's really interesting, especially if you have a physician who does get disabled early in their career and didn't have a chance to make a lot of income. The normal disability plan will take you to age 65. That rider will take you for life. So really interesting. Something that we always at least get physicians to take a look at. Accident, death, and dismemberment. We don't do a whole lot of business for physicians on that. Healthcare profession rider. So that's basically covers you for Hep B, Hep C, and HIV. So we're going to click that. That's there's no cost to that rider right now, but it does say if you get those things, they will not allow you to practice. We would consider that a disability. So we've added pretty much all the riders here, but that's typically what you see for a lot of physicians. They might not take this one. They may take it. Depends what they want. Some people don't care about return of premium. Some people do. It's there if you want. And then, so we built this plan, and all we do is view report. And this is basically what I would do for advisors who are, reach out to me, go, hey, what should I do here? What should I quote? What can we do? And we now know that this client who is making a lot of money, even though they have some coverage in force, they are underinsured. And it's going to pop out this illustration here. It's going to have the client's name. And if you want to put your name on it, it will have that there. It's going to give you all the information, the client's name, her age, her class, the plan we're going with, how much coverage, all that kind of stuff. And then as we get down here below, it's going to say, hey, you know what? Here's the cost of the base policy, and here's each of the riders. Now, you might look at this number and go, oh, wow, that's a lot of money, right? Let's bring this over here. So you're going to say this is $13,856 per year for disability coverage. And that might look like a lot of money, right? But we know this client made about $455,000 in 2019. So I'm just going to take that number and I'm going to divide it by $455,000. And we're actually it's only costing her 3% of her income. And let's not forget, we've added a return of premium here so that in 70 years, if there's no claim, she doesn't get half that money back. So really, if that's the case, let's just divide that by 2. What we're doing here is we're insuring this client for 1.5% of their income. And how much coverage will this pay out? Well, we know that it's going to pay out, we go up here, 9,275. So let's just take 9,275 and we'll multiply that by 12. So each year we're going to pay out $111,000 tax-free. But this client's 40. Let's just say that they were to claim for 25 years up to age 65. This plan could pay out something like $2.8 million. And I didn't index it, so it would be even more if we indexed it. So when people look at that, hey, that's $13,000 or whatever that number is, we're just talking about 1.5% of your total income. And so when really bad happens to you, this plan could pay out more than $3 million likely. So this is the type of consultation you'll get if you reach out to myself or someone else on our team around what we should do here. And actually, I did forget that there are some premium reductions for clients, depends on what they do, but a lot of physicians do work at a hospital, and we do actually have a bunch of hospital discounts here in Ottawa. We're at all the major hospitals, so I'm just going to add hospital discount. And they could apply for other discounts if they're available for them, but that's one we always see on those plans. So anyways, I hope this video wasn't too long, but I just want to walk you through exactly how we would look at a consultation if you came in to see us and what we would do and how we would quote it out. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to myself or someone else on our team, and we'd love to help you. All right, thanks.